This lesson is over how to simplify expressions. So let's look at our number routine. How do you know? Write an equation to find the relationship between the house number x and the number of shapes y. So let me get my calligraphy pen. So what is the relationship between the house number 1 and the number of shapes 3? What's the relationship between the house number 2 and the number of shapes 6? What's the relationship between house number 8 and the number of shapes 24? I believe the relationship is times 3, but how would you write that as an equation? So if the house number is x and the number of shape is y, would you be multiplying times 3 by the house number or by the number of shapes? I believe you'll be multiplying by the house number. So if you wrote x times 3 equals y, I'm okay with that. However, if you wrote it as y equal x times 3, it would be better. But if you wrote it, if you write it like this, like an algebra student, y equals 3x, I prefer that. So does the house number depend on the number of shapes, or does the number of shapes depend on the house number? I believe the house number depends on, the number of shapes depends on the house number. Hence, the number of shapes is the dependent, while the house number is the independent. All right, so today we're going to be learning how to simplify expression, but these are called algebra tiles. We're going to be using symbolic representation, tile representation, and verbal description. So according to this, it says this, whoops, let me erase that. This represents an X. This black rectangle represents negative X. This square represents 1 unit, or positive 1, and this black square will represent negative 1 unit or negative 1. So it says X minus 5. So I need an X, and I need minus 5. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5. That is my tile representation. So verbal description, X minus 5. You could write it as, you could write it as X minus 5. Or what about this? Or you could write it as the difference of X and 5. Or you could write it as 5 less than X. Any one of those are okay. Next one, sum of X and Y. Sum of X and Y. Sum. Does that mean, what operation is sum? Is the answer to an addition. Also, X plus Y. And how would you represent it as an algebra tile? So X plus 5 positive, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and plus 5. Let's look at another example. X plus 9. So let's represent this with tile representation. We have X and 9 positive, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, and plus 9. What is the verbal description? You can say X plus 9. Let's get more technical. What about, is there a better word for plus? Sum of X. Sum of X and 9. Next one. difference of x and 4. What operation is different? Subtract. So x 4. Let's represent this with algebra tiles. So we have x minus 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. X minus 4. Next example, 3 x's. Well, this is an x. This is another x. And this is another x. So the verbal description, I would say 3 groups of x. 3 x's. Or if you want to be more technical, you can say the product of 3 and x. So what does product mean? Multiply 3 times x, which is 3x. Next one, 5 groups of negative x. So here's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. 5 groups of negative x. So negative x, negative x, negative x, negative x, negative 5 groups of negative x. How many negative x's do we have? Negative 1x, negative 2x, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Next one. I see a negative x, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Does it repeat again? It does repeat again. So two ways you can say this. You can say this is the first group. This is the second group. There seem like there are 2 groups of negative x plus 4. So I see a negative x and I see positive 4. So there are 2 groups of negative x plus 4, because here's the first negative 4, and it repeats the second group. So I can say the answer 2 ways you can say it. You can say 2 times, and then let's use the multiplication factor. 2 groups of negative x plus 4. Or if you want to, you can say, how many negative x's are there? Negative 2x plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can say many ways you can say this. You can say the sum of negative 2x and 8, or negative 2x plus 8. You can even say there are 2 groups of negative x plus 4. Next one. Symbolic representation is negative 6 plus 3x. So I have negative 6 plus 3x's. So 1x, 2x, 3x. So it's negative 6 plus 3x. That's the verbal description. Or you can say the sum of negative 6 and 3x. Next example, 2 groups of x plus 5. So we have an x, and then we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's an x plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 2 groups of x plus 5. So I can say 2 times x plus 5 as my answer. 2 groups of x plus 5. Or if you want to say this, how many x's did you use to make this? 2 x's. How many ones did we use here? 2x plus 10, or 2 times 2 groups of x plus 5. Next one. What do you see in this picture? I see 2 x's plus 4. So I could say it is the sum of 2x and 4. But if I circle this, This is one group, and this is a second group. Are they equivalent? They are. So it seems like there is one group, two groups. There's two, let's write some verbal description. There are two groups of x plus 2. Two groups of x plus 2. Next one, 7 more than x. So we have an x. What's 7 more than that? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 more than x. So I see an x of 7. More than means add. The next one, what tau representations here? I see 3 x's. And black represents -1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, 3x minus 6. So you can say it as the difference of 3x and -6. Or if you want to see it as this, if this is one group, is that similar, equivalent to this group? It is. Is that equivalent to this group? It is. So it seems like there are 3 groups of x -1 minus 2. 3 groups of x minus 2. Or 3 times minus 2. 3 groups of x minus 2. Next one. Product of 4 and x. What does product mean? That means 4 x or 4. How would you represent it as 4 x's? 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. Next example. In this tau representation, what do you see? I see minus an x, another minus an x, another minus x, another minus x, minus 4x. I see a -1, -1. So -1 is -2. So -4x minus 2. Verbal description, I see a difference of -4x and -2. Or does this group look similar to this group? It does. So it could be 2 groups of -2x minus, this is a 1, 2 groups of -2x minus 1, or 2 groups of -2x minus 1. And next example, 2 times x plus 4. That's 2 groups of x plus 4. Can you show me using algebra tiles 2 groups of x plus 4? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4. And that's it. X1, 2x plus 8. So that's only 2. I cannot reach it. All right, I'm just going to draw it. So 2x plus 8. So I see a sum of 2x and 8. Next, and that is our last example. So what we did is we practiced with symbolic representation, tile representation, and verbal description. So we're just practicing the study of algebra tiles. So in our next class, when we talk about simplifying expression, you will get a better understanding of